Welcome to the Fair Housing Insiders. We are so thankful that you joined us. And please remember to subscribe here on our YouTube channel or follow and like us on your favorite social media outlet, which you can find links to in our show notes for even more fair housing news and insights. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fair Housing Insiders episode 96. Today, we are focusing on part 5 of our series, Is It a Disability? I'm your host, Jonathan Sarr, and today we are joined by Kathy Williams. So part 5 today is on the topic of allergies. So we look forward to your comments, Kathy, and insights on this. We've got a couple nice scenarios we're going to look at. But as we mentioned, just as we were preparing for this, it's a difficult topic. So I know our audience is going to absolutely love your comments and feedback. So let's get the first question out there. Can allergies be considered a disability?
Yes, they can. The difficult thing when dealing with allergies and the claim that someone needs a reasonable accommodation because of an allergy is there are allergies that are disabilities and meet the definition of disabilities. There are many, many allergies that don't. They're a physical impairment, but they're not severe enough to rise to the level of a disability. So it is very important that whenever you're dealing with a claim that I need a reasonable accommodation because of my allergies, that you are prepared to ask the appropriate questions to make that determination of whether indeed it's a disability or not. And so what I would suggest as a best practice is that you've got those questions prepared and approved by your lawyer, your compliance department ahead of time, that you're ready for these kind of requests and that you know how to handle them.
Welcome back. These videos are powered by our friends at Digible. Their team harnesses the power of AI and automation to handle the heavy lifting for you and your leasing team. And they understand the complexities of fair housing compliance. Their platform, Fiona, streamlines the process, ensuring each property's digital footprint is not only effective, but also fully compliant. Check out their website to learn more.
All right, very good. Thank you, Kathy. So let's look at a scenario now and dive deeper into this topic.
Did you see the accommodation request from Ms. Clark? Not yet. Why? You know how she's been trying to get out of her lease for the last 6 months, right? Well, now she says she's allergic to the carpet and produced a letter from her doctor urging us to accommodate her because her allergy is so severe.
So that's interesting. As always, gives us a nice framework and visual. So, Kathy, your thoughts. Can a resident claim a disability long after exposure to the allergen?
This is going to be one of those maybe answers. Sometimes it takes a long time for someone to respond to living in an environment that presents some kind of allergen to them. But again, as I mentioned before, there are lots of questions that can be posed to flush out whether indeed this is one of those allergies that rises to the level of a disability. So, some of the questions to discuss both with the resident and with the verifier are, has this resident been tested to decide what they're allergic to? And then if so, what of those allergens are in the carpet, and why do you think it's the carpet that's creating the allergic response? Even if the carpet is creating a problem, then you can discuss what can be done about it. Can you change the flooring? Can you transfer the resident to a different location? In this scenario, the resident wanted to solve the whole problem by terminating their lease early. And while that can be a reasonable accommodation in certain instances, it's probably the rare case where it would be for someone who has lived with a carpet for 6 months and now suddenly they say that that's why they need to terminate their lease. Again, I think through artful questioning of the resident and the verifier, you can probably figure out whether that is a reasonable accommodation or not.
All right, very good. Thank you for your explanation. So we're going to look at one more scenario for our show today, and we'll get your comments on that one.
I know this is a no pet property, but I have a service dog and an emotional support cat. Is that going to be a problem?
Yes, that's a big problem. I do all of my own maintenance for all 6 units in this building, and I live here. I am severely allergic to cats, to the point where if exposed for more than just a few minutes, my throat closes up and I can't breathe. I can't have cats living in this building, even if it's an ESA.
Can a landlord who has a disability due to an allergy use it as a reason to refuse a reasonable accommodation?
Well, this is an interesting scenario because for a lot of reasons, the common sense answer would be sure, if the owner is allergic to cats and the owner is doing all his own maintenance on the property, then how could he be required to go into a unit where a cat lives? That's the common sense answer. Unfortunately, that's not necessarily the answer that is going to prevent claims of housing discrimination by applicants who have an ESA cat. Cat allergies are really common. And as I mentioned before, one of the issues is, does the cat allergy cause you to sneeze and your eyes get watery? That's probably not a disability. In this case, the owner said his throat closes up and he can't breathe when he's around cats. That probably does rise to the level of a disability because it severely restricts the ability of that person to be around cats. Now, what can be done about it if that's the situation? It is never a good idea to say people who need ESA cats can't live here. That is not going to be, from a liability standpoint, the safest policy. It may be important to look at how can that maintenance work get done by someone else. Maybe a contractor, a family member, someone else that can perform services inside that apartment. Now, if it's required that they hire somebody, that's probably a financial and administrative burden. That might be a defense to the requirement that you have to permit ESA cats in your unit. However, like I said, I would be leery of ever having that as the result. And I would work very hard as the owner of this property to find a way around going in a unit where you know an animal or a cat lives if you're allergic, other than just denying people the right to live in your units because you have an allergy.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. It's a very detailed topic, and we had some great scenarios there to help us visualize common things that our community goes through on a regular basis. So, is it a disability? Episode 96. Thank you, Kathy, for being here, and we thank you to our community for your ongoing and amazing support. We look forward to next time. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to hear your feedback about today's episode. Do you have a topic that you would like to see discussed in a future episode? Feel free to share that with us. In the show notes, you'll see a link to sign up for our newsletter. This newsletter will keep you up to date with our latest episodes, blogs, and information about our online fair housing courses. Thank you again, and happy training.